Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm taking a deep dive into one of the most ambitious and fascinating projects featured on Escape to Rural France, the restoration of the turret at Chateau de Chaumont. This project is a wild ride of history, hard work, setbacks, and some seriously luxe touches that give us a glimpse of what it takes to bring a centuries-old chateau back to life. I'm going to break it down into three parts: the good, the bad, and the bougie. That means we'll look at what went right, the challenges and mistakes along the way, and the fancy, high-end elements that add that special chateau charm. This video is meant as a fan-based perspective on the topic. So let's get into it and explore why this turret restoration is such a captivating story. The good, the heart and craft of restoration. All right, let's start with the good stuff, because there's a lot to celebrate here. First, the chateau itself, Chateau de Chaumont, is an incredible piece of architectural history. Though the turret was tragically destroyed in a fire decades ago, the chateau holds a remarkable legacy, having served as a refuge and shelter for vulnerable children during difficult times in the past. That kind of history adds so much emotional depth to any restoration effort. Dan Preston, the heart and soul behind Escape to Rural France, has poured immense dedication into bringing this turret back from literally nothing but rubble. When he started, there was no turret, just the charred remains of a fire that left only the external walls of the chateau standing. What's really impressive is Dan's painstaking approach to rebuilding the turret. Stone by stone, he carefully reconstructs the structure, paying close attention to authenticity and craftsmanship. It's not just about building walls, it's about reviving original details, matching the historical style, and making sure the new turret blends seamlessly with the rest of the chateau. Watching the progress over time is like seeing history come alive. The turret starts as a pile of stones and slowly transforms into an architectural jewel once again. Dan's hands-on work with masonry, carpentry, and design showcases not just skill, but a real passion for preserving heritage. And here's the thing, this isn't just a personal project. The restoration has attracted a massive community of viewers and supporters, with millions watching Dan's journey. There's something inspiring about seeing someone take on such a huge challenge with grit and heart. It's also a beautiful example of how patience and persistence pay off. Restoration is not a quick fix. It's a long process with steady progress that ultimately leads to something stunning. So, the good? The deep respect for history, the careful craftsmanship, and the inspiring community of chateau lovers who cheer Dan on every step of the way. The bad, the reality check. But no great project comes without its hurdles. Now, let's talk about the bad, the struggles and setbacks that make this restoration journey so real. One of the biggest challenges is the turret itself was completely destroyed in that fire many years ago. That means Dan wasn't just fixing something broken. He had to start from scratch, rebuilding a structure that had been reduced to ashes. That kind of rebuild is enormously difficult, especially on a historical building where you want to keep the original look and feel. Structural issues are another big problem. With much of the chateau already damaged by the fire, stability was a serious concern. Dan had to make sure the foundation and walls could support the new turret safely, which meant a lot of technical work to reinforce and secure everything. And while the passion is clear, some parts of the process raised concerns about safety. Dan often tackles heavy work solo or in small groups, sometimes without all the protective gear you'd expect for such dangerous tasks. That makes viewers worry about injuries or accidents, And it's a reminder of just how tough these restoration projects can be. There's also the time and resource crunch. Unlike a big commercial renovation, Dan works mostly by himself with a very limited budget. That means no large crew or fancy equipment, just a lot of manual labor, some borrowed tools, and a lot of creativity to stretch every euro. This slows down progress and makes the entire project much harder. Sometimes things just don't go as planned. Weather delays, material shortages, and unforeseen repairs pop up regularly. Rebuilding a turret on a historic chateau isn't like fixing a regular house. It's unpredictable, messy, and often frustrating. And because of these factors, the timeline for finishing the turret stretches on and on. For fans following the project, that means a lot of patience is required, and it can feel like a slow crawl. So the bad? A complete rebuild from fire ruins, structural challenges, safety concerns, and the reality of working solo on a shoestring budget. It's a lot, but it makes the project all the more impressive when you see progress at all. The bougie. Now for the bougie part. The fancy, the high-end, the chateau glamour that turns this turret from just a rebuild into something truly special. Despite all the setbacks, Dan's vision for this turret isn't just about making it stable, it's about restoring its original grandeur and luxury. He's got big plans to bring in beautiful materials and finishes that match the chateau's historical elegance. Think of finely crafted woodwork, carefully selected stone, and decorative touches that scream French chateau style. These aren't cheap upgrades. They're deliberate choices to honor the building's past and make the restoration shine. One of the most exciting bougie aspects is Dan's commitment to making the chateau as sustainable as possible. He's aiming for off-grid living, incorporating solar power and eco-friendly systems into the renovation. This blend of modern sustainability with old-world charm is super inspiring, showing that you can honor history while embracing the future. The cultural richness of the chateau also adds an extra layer of bougie vibes. It's not just a house, it's a symbol of resilience and heritage, a place with stories woven into every stone. Restoring the turret means preserving that story and adding to it with a new chapter of craftsmanship and care. Plus, the whole aesthetic of the chateau with the restored turret is visually stunning. It's the kind of project that makes you dream about French countryside living, historical grandeur, and the romance of restoring something forgotten. So, the bougie? It's the high-end materials, the sustainable goals, and the cultural depth that make this turret restoration about so much more than just bricks and mortar. It's about luxury with meaning. So, what do you think? The turret restoration at Chateau de Chaumont is a story of passion and perseverance, filled with highs and lows, setbacks and triumphs. From nothing but fire ruins to a symbol of elegance and sustainability, this project shows us what it really takes to bring history back to life. It's a reminder that restoring old buildings isn't just about fixing walls. It's about reconnecting with the past, honoring stories, and dreaming big for the future. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the good, the bad, and the bougie, please hit that like button, subscribe for more chateau content, and leave a comment telling me what you found most interesting or what you want to see next. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time for another deep dive into the wonderful world of chateau restoration.